this opportunity. And also, like you said, we're in the golden dawn or the golden age because of what the sun is doing. Is getting, the earth and the sun are vibrating closer. So it's literally ushering in lights. That's what the sun is. It's a lights entity, that is emitting photons, which is antimatter, and matter both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you're able to capture in, antimatter and matter through, your telekinetic synthesizer, which is your neuromelanin, that you're able to process within your brain. So that's why when you allow oxygen, more space, more opening, more to come inside of you, you can process more of that information, which is that knowledge. You'll be able to then know the ledge, So it's like, yeah, you have to allow it to get in your genes, That's why they give you pants and they call it genes. You gotta, because your genes get tangled up and they get wrinkled and stuff like that. So they want your genes to get tangled up and get wrinkled. Because when you unwrinkle or untangle your genes, your genetic code, that's when you'll be able to tap into that Akashic record. Which is not just all your memories, but it's the memories of the all. So, essentially going back to the light thing, Age of Aquarius, they also call it. Yeah, please.
I shared this video on my story. It was saying, the more you fuck around, the more you'll find out. So if you don't fuck around, you're never gonna find out.
Yeah, that goes back because they have this system set up to where everybody's living backwards. So you have to fuck around. You literally have to go around. It's just like in the movie Ready Player One. In the first race in Ready Player One, he kept losing. Everybody kept losing. They was trying to get the key, and then he went and got into the mystery and realized, like, wait, the creator of the game said, what if we went backwards really fast? Mm-hmm. So that's exactly what he did to get the first key, is he went backwards really fast. Yeah. And that's when he won the race. So essentially, because we're living backwards, the way we come into artificial light and in artificial space, breathing artificial chemicals, getting fed artificial food, then we're born, which is bleak and unlikeness. We have to go backwards really fast because we're already going in the wrong direction. So that's what it means to unlearn. You got to actually keep unlearning, because they just twisted the truth so much. It's like you have to twist the bottle back for the fullness of who you actually are to unfold. This is what the plants help. Whether it be marijuana, psychedelics. The chemicals. That's why we were alchemists. Chemists being chemistry. We was understanding that certain chemical combinations equal certain effects, cause and effect. Law, cause and effect. Going back to the law of rhythm. But going back to the sun, the age of Aquarius, the sun photons, that's information. So it's literally putting us more into information. That's why they're seeking, though the top 500 corporations, they're, expanding because more information is coming in, so they're going out because, the way the system is designed to keep information from those at the bottom, so that you can continue growing your business. So now that information is coming in, those at the bottom will go up. So now where does those that's at the top go? They either have to go down or they have to go out. So this is what we're seeing with the Tesla thing and the projects. They have enough financial resources and land, and they're not just getting land just to get land. No, they're getting testing grounds in certain spaces, launching pads and portals and dimensions, frequencies, land that's vibrating on certain frequencies and ley lines to places on the earth that have certain energy signatures so that they can tap into the energy there and then see what's there and uncover that space, because this how you actually leave is through like the Bermuda Triangles and through spaces like that, going outside of the land. So to the certain whatever frequency you're on the pyramid, whether you're a citizen, operating universal law, you can see everything they do is for a divine purpose, because you are a divine being and everything is just a reflection of you. So everything they do is for a divine purpose. Like last week was a fire over here, like by the train. I don't know if y'all saw a big fire, a whole bunch of smoke in the clouds. Yeah, it was big. It was lasted 6 hours, but apparently a junkyard caught on fire.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, man, we were walking and we saw it. And I was like,
that was on Tuesday or Thursday?
Tuesday. I was like, that's a building. I didn't even know how it was the building. And then at the end, I was like, wait, how do I know it's a building? Maybe it's cars. But then it was both. It was a junkyard. And then they delayed the train to like New Jersey for 6 hours. So when things are done that affects commerce like that, then you have to ask yourself like, okay, why did it take so long? Because time is money. You know what I'm saying? Like they have the resources to like do things instantaneously if they need to. With the technology and the things that they have access to. So who? And if you watch shows like what's it called? Not House of Cards, but yeah, House of Cards. They show like they turned out the lights at a baseball game, a major league game, because they were having a dispute. With the president and one of the billionaires. So like the things that affect us is like it's just arguments with them at the top. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's getting flat. All right, like okay, you want to give me this? I'm gonna keep sending the waters over there and destroying stuff. Like if you don't pay me back, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is.
War games at the chess table.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well said.
That's also something I definitely realized on that point. Being
You can say it here.
especially on my journey, being involved within so many different projects and areas of life where you learn about how to create your own systems, you realize that, with the direction the world is heading, especially with the New World Order agendas that are, being promoted right now, they're all designed to basically, get people to be completely reliant
Just a reflection of you.
upon the system so that they can have complete control. But that's the same thing that they teach within, those in the silence process. You own nothing, and when you learn how to do that in a way where it goes into what the true meaning of it is.
Yeah. Go there. Talk about it. The universal law. What is it?
Yeah, what they try to promote it as is that, it's you being subservient to this limited construct of, finite resources, and within the laws and regulations of the maritime law, but that we have now founded upon is the same laws that have governed everything in nature throughout the beginning of creation and time. And what has even allowed us to even get to this point in our society's evolution is that, these laws have always had to been followed. But the way that they promote it in society is they will give you, certain aspect of the truth so that, that they will hide the truth in plain sight, or give you like a predictive programming of something, because within the universal laws they can never impose onto you unless you give permission or you submit to it. And that's why they program within the movies and within the shows, like you're saying.
Yeah, I was gonna go back that what you said as far as control you at the end.
They do all of this to be able to control.
Yeah, that goes back to own nothing and control everything. Yeah,
Exactly.
to the point that you were speaking of. Because
Do you guys have any Earth for me to roll?
Yes.
she's about to make it known.
Yeah.
So when you say own and control everything, it goes back to the universal point is like the law of attachment and detachment. Understanding, not to be the law of detachment is like that. You are everything, but you're not attached to anything. You're just connected to everything. So that's what they mean by own nothing, control everything. And also you can't own anything because you didn't create it. It's creating itself. Nothing is created or destroyed, just transferred. So you can't even own anything. But you can control your frequency. You can control your energy. So essentially that's what's happening. Is like it's a self-reminder to control your frequency, to control your energy. And also if you ever go into meditation, you realize that control, that's in the sense of an illusion. Because even when you're driving and you're controlling the steering wheel, when you get on a highway and you're able to go like a certain path long enough, right? You're able to go a certain path long enough, you start flowing, and the less you can try to control it, actually the more that you flow. You know what I'm saying? And you can like be flowing and get into states of flowing in and out of like cars, you know what I'm saying? You
It's
know.
a balance.
Yeah, yes, it's a balance, you know. Because like it's more like you're not controlling it from this point of
Oh,
view.
can I use the blender?
Yeah.
From this realm, what's happening is you're allowing the being that's supreme being or higher dimensional being, which would be a fifth dimensional, bigger, larger space being, with the infinite being, do the doing. That's how I feel like that's how Alan Watts be saying it.
Like in country music, there's a song saying Jesus take the wheel.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then the wheel's powerful too, because the wheel, steering wheel, and then the wheels, like the tire's a wheel, you know what I'm saying? Then the wheel is what the engine, they have an access that they can spin on the wheel. So the wheel is like, is it a car or is it a giant wheel in multiple pieces?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't even move it without the wheel. You know what I'm saying? But the wheel goes back to the will, you know what I'm saying, or the will of God. You know what I'm saying? Which would be the God of the dare, because the will comes from your soul, your solar plexus. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the will is so powerful. You know, they're also utilizing the wheel, you know, having us drive it around. We know we're supposed to be rotating around the wheel and receiving it. Like, we're not even necessarily, we're supposed to be driving more so like a U type shape, you know what I'm saying, or a straight type thing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I give them a lot of credits, you know what I'm saying, for, you know, going to this great extent to keep us collectively like, you know, not aware, you know, because this helps me not like go hard or try to pressure people. You know, my mentors always tell me, just allow those who can see that's already doing the work, you know, to just do the work while naturally doing it. You know, like, you know, sometimes you might hold the jewels, you know what I'm saying, you try to show it to people, and they can't see it, you know. And if they can't see your jewel, then that means like they're not ready to receive it. You know, so, and then life gets easier that way, you know. And then the last part is just the financial realm, you know, because that's what this realm is set up on, that currency. You don't want to earn, you want to transfer currency, you know, from one side to the next, you know, from the yin to the yang. You want to master Tai Chi, you know, and start thinking like that, like, okay, money is just energy. And energy is a current. You got positive, you got negative, that's energy. You got red, you got blue, you got masculine, you got feminine, you got north, you got south. That's a current. So you got one side to where, you know, money, like you got debt, that's negative, and you got positive, and you got credit. You know what I'm saying? So you're using the negative to get to the positive. You know, because the positive, no matter what happens to it, it's still positive. You know what I'm saying? No matter what happens to the positive, that credit, because you are the Most High within, you're always creditable. So that's literally how they imitated the system of the credit system, the FICO system. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, and they utilize false evidence appearing real to get people to not get to the positive side. People are afraid of credit. People are ignorant to credit. People, you know, they hold the credit in even if they have a good, like they hold it in, they're attached to it. You know what I'm saying? People keep spending and keep utilizing these debt, these negative tones, these negative frequencies. With all these presidents, all these other people's faces on it who have stories and lives and things that they did, you know, which wasn't all highly favorable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so, you know, except for like Abraham Lincoln, he's the only president. His face is the opposite direction. All the presidents' faces are like right, his is left. You know, he tried to come out with a greenback dollar. He tried to come out with a new dollar that wasn't a debt note, and that's why they assassinated him, because they're like, nah, you can't do that. You know, like, presidents are limited. JFK, you know, he had a speech where he exposed this 7 levels of military defense that they utilize, you know what I'm saying, to control the world. And I was like, yo, he used words I never even heard of, you know, and that's why he was assassinated.
Wow.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that too. Like all the presidents that, you know, were assassinated were ones that actually,
Andrew Jackson too.
Yeah, they were all.
He was like down with
leaders that were actually the only ones that were really fighting for the people.
Yeah, he was like, well, more so they just didn't like what the government was trying to do to the people.
Right.
You know, because even when the Constitution was written, it was supposed to be like an agreement, like, okay, government, we are the people, and this is what y'all can do, and this is what y'all can't do. You know what I'm saying? But then the government took that and was like, nah, fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? Then they made it to modify themselves, whoever the government was. You know what I'm saying? So then they enacted that as law. You know what I'm saying? They were funded by the international bankers, you know, who helped them get soldiers and different things like that to protect that law. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're standing on. It's somebody's own constitution. constitution. And that's why you gotta get into developing your own, business and having your own bylaws to that business, your own trusts, your own bylaws, the laws you go by, your own constitution. You can also co-opt that with the body of God, because you need the arm, Is it arm, leg, arm, head. That's the body of God, with like a 5-point start. So you need team. There's no such thing. There's no I in team. You know what I'm saying? But there is me, and technically it is all me. It's all you. So it can't be done without a team. All these corporations, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, they had the right. It was not even about a large team necessarily, but it's about the right team. Because everybody becomes a duplication of whatever the core is. You know what I'm saying? So the core could be 7, it could be 12, it could be 18, it could be 21, and everything's a duplication of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like a football roster. You have the first line, you know what I'm saying? The first line, offense, defense, that's the core, and everything's a duplication of that. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit weaker, you know what I'm saying, or less than, but they're all one whole. Because they have somebody on the first line comes out, the second line got to be the first. So it really is no different, and the second line could be the first at any point in time. And that goes back to the second line. So the first line is masculine, because the first line is 1, and the second line would be 2, or 2 lines. 1, 2 is 2 lines. So it's 2. That's where the number 2 comes into existence. That's feminine, but the 2 could come into the second line, could come into first at any time. That's the trick between the divine and feminine. That's why it goes back to the will and letting it flow. Yeah, I know it's scripted because it's this English language. It's like it's the English language, but it's math or it's numbers that they made into words, and numbers are just energy expressions. Energy was just traveling, and it'd be like almost like a dance move. Like if we just do a dance move, you do something like this, like you do a number, and the 1 would be like that. Yeah, and the 2, and then they connect. They end up making images.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was going to say too, is, especially the fact that you said they made words out of numbers, because when you learn how to decode the matrix in terms of everything that they promote in our mainstream society nowadays, they have a code called gematria that they use.
Yeah, gematria.
But,
that's by using boxes and squares and leading to the root of it.
Yeah, they put that code into everything that they promote in order to basically have, things that, just as I said earlier, for them to control everything, they need people to have themselves given permission in a certain sense. So the ways that they program the language and use the gematria code, they're actually subconsciously, it goes beyond most people's heads, that they're, giving consent in a sense to all the stuff that's going on, that they do for this. And you can, when you learn about it, and when you learn how to master it, you can essentially flip the script on them and be able to learn ahead of time what their plans are and their agendas. There's groups out there that will either be able to predict these things that are going on in the future for financial gain, or honestly the only thing I would promote is when you're using it for the liberation of humanity and for things that are evolving you into that true liberated sense of, rather than being a victim of your circumstances, to what's being promoted on the media, to becoming a co-creator of it, realizing that you have the power to change your circumstances by not only the words you speak that you program into reality, but the ways that you empower others, to do the same. You start these movements, these networks, these communities, then you get to a point to where...
I'm just going to like David. So why don't we do this? I mean, so why don't people? Yeah, I mean, but collectively, like generally, I guess consistently or habitually, why don't people do this? Well, why don't we do this habitually?
This is what it is. It is what it is until you think differently.
Yeah.
So everybody is having this common thought going on,
Yes.
and it's keeping them locked within that frame.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. It's like goes back to like the Masonic network. So it's a network, or and that network makes a cloud like that, like that,
Oh,
like
that's- yeah, the
iCloud,
The cloud is called
the superconscious.
Gregor. It's
Gregorius
yeah,
scale.
Gregorius. It's like a cloud.
Yeah.
Cloud.
Yeah, so it's just like the superconscious, and that's where the data's being stored. But yeah, so they're channeling, and that's why we watch, the TV through a channel, or YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, and then even a radio station is a channel. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so they have all the space, what you're paying your attention, your currency, in a particular space. Yeah, and then they are capping that space, and that's why you have to take a cap. You know what I'm saying, to get out of that space. You know what I'm saying? Where somebody pops a cap in that ass. You know what I'm saying? Or you pop a cap like a mushroom cap. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a fact. So yeah, you had said you mentioned a few great things that I wanted to also go into. What was the word that you utilized? Man, it was like a full circle of things that was spoken about that I can't even recall right now.
Well, I'll finish the thought as well.
Okay, let's spare back in.
Absolutely. This transition here, really amplifies the point of what I was saying as well, is that, they're building a collective, hive mind, reality.
The hive mind.
Yeah, to where they're essentially, having all these things programmed into our society so that, people are consenting to it, but it's going past their subconscious mind. That's why you also say the super.
Yeah. Conscious, subconscious, then unconscious. So yeah, it's getting implanted to a point where they can't see. It's kind of like like your peripheral. Your rear view mirror. And then you can see your rear view mirror when you're in your car, but how do you see your rear view mirror when you're in your vehicle? You know what I'm saying? Your body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then to transmute that into
That's serious right there.
to transmute that, you have to create a new vision and then amplify that through the communities of all those like-minded individuals, and have enough focused energy, life force energy into that one collective thought. And there's companies out there even to this day, that utilize this
Yeah,
principle.
you spent some bars there. It was making super sense because you talking about hemisync. You know what I'm saying? You talking about because you're saying focus because we're light beings.
Yeah.
So if you take your light and put it through one channel, you know what I'm saying? That's what a laser is. You know what I'm saying? A laser is a light through one channel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Illuminated. You know
The
what I'm saying?
CIA has even done, they've done experiments on hemisync, and
Yeah.
they've been able to find that they can use that to amplify people's psychic abilities.
Yeah, military generals use hemisync to send out, armies, you know what I'm saying, to go conquest and conquer, spaces.
Like psychic spies. Armies,
Yeah.
that literally can fight battles on multiple realms, and the governments know this because,
Wait, you're going live? I'm like,
Do you
we're
mind
just recording.
grabbing on one of those ashtrays for you guys? There's a couple on that.
Yeah,
shelf
here,
over there.
I'll hand you this one. Let's go in. So yes, that's collectively we have to pivot off that energy and utilize our time to run the play. Like we're actually going into occult information like sacred and secret spaces right now what we're speaking on because and that's what we're here to do. You know what I'm saying? As the one being or the one body that we're within is to bring that which was hidden back into the light. Because this is like going back to the information they have everybody moving in a formation, everybody's in a box because of how the sine wave is hitting the earth plane. So that's why you have to check in the boxes, you know what I'm saying, for everything, school applications. The application is how information comes out. You have to apply it, so that's why you get put in the application. And also in the application is what computers run, which you are an organic computer. You know, so they got you running all these different applications. You're checking in this box and checking in that box. You know, so yeah, you're squaring yourself in, and then they have everything as a box, like the phone, the wallets. You know what I'm saying? The apps. You know, television box. You know what I'm saying? X box. You know, they go in with the box. You know what I'm saying? So they really have, and then that's why in SpongeBob there was an episode where they were in the box, and it was like imagination.
Oh yeah.
And it was all the way outside of the box, in the box.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why Albert Einstein said more powerful than knowledge is imagination.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. Imagination.
Yeah,
Magic nation.
yeah, as in I or one, and then magi, that's a lowercase god. You know what I'm saying? Like magi straight. That's one who creates.
Like image in mind,
Yeah, that's one who creates law. A magi, one who creates law. One who creates as he speaks. You know what I'm saying? A magistrate. And then image, and then magi, the nation. You know what I'm saying? Nation is things coming together. So imagination is how you utilize the subconscious and the unconscious to bring to the conscious. Because those are just three different planes separated by frequencies. Frequencies of vibration. So you change your vibration, then you change your frequency. You change your frequency, then you can get to these planes. You know what I'm saying? And the more you get to these planes, the more you start what's called oscillating around them. Just naturally. So the thing is with that, now you'll be a high frequency being. What that causes is entities to repel, from you or come to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're a magnet now, or you're a charged magnet. So, quantum physics, they say two opposing frequencies cannot operate in the same time and space. So you'll cause dissonance, cognitive dissonance, immediately on this particular journey. And that's why many, they settle at different levels and don't keep going to infinity and beyond. Because you start becoming cognitive dissonances to those who aren't going into infinity and beyond. But there's so many limitations as we just went over earlier, from the language and the words and everything like that, and spells and born and birth. Even the birth is where a ship sits. You know what I'm saying? In the port. You know what I'm saying? And then the port. Like it's short for portal, or put it in the port. You know what I'm saying? You usually put something like a hard drive, something hard that drives in the port. You know what I'm saying? Which is the portal, right? Something hard that drives in the portal. You know what I'm saying? To get information. Yep. Information. It's a whole, and that's how wise and knowledgeable or intelligent they are. They would take everything that's different or separate and have to put it as one, but it not be recognizable. You know what I'm saying? Because we just literally spoke about a computer and a hard drive that was also connected to a phallus and a yoni with a portal and a hard drive. You know what I'm saying? And then even that being said, is describing the experience that it is. When you have a hard drive, you know what I'm saying? So it's describing the action of what it does. And then you put in a USB to get information off of the thing that it was ported into. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you got to import and then export. The information. You know what I'm saying? So see, we're constantly. So this is the matrix, and people are constantly doing this, thinking it's just just a computer, it's just technology. No, it's you. That's a micro dimension of you that you're manipulating. You know what I'm saying? You're tampering with yourself. You're trapping yourself constantly. And that's because we were just led. We were inspired because we're currents. A current was blown this way. We were inspired. We say in. And then spire is breath. So, you know what I'm saying? And the breath is what leads you. So we were literally pushed into this dimension. So we have to spiral back out. Let's go backwards really fast. We got to go backwards really fast to spiral back out because we're living backwards.
Do you guys know what strains you guys have?
No, I forget the name now.
Peace. This is resonating because
Mine's peanut butter and mint.
Oh, cool.
peanut butter and mince.
And we had cherry pie. There's 3 strains.
Peace to you guys.
That's a good
And
mix.
rose petals, sage, red raspberry, tobacco.
Yeah, that was a good mix.
We also had a little bit of black leader as well.
You speak a lot with your emotions, with your energy and motion. You Yeah. Like sometimes it precedes your thought or your word.
It's that Pisces thing.
It's the moon and Aries
That's
thing.
what's up.
Yeah.
Because Aries is the head, so Aries can like.
Visual, it's like a visual kind of.
Also, I was gonna say because it's fire and it's the first fire, it's the first sign. You know, it starts things, so it immediately goes into something. You know what I'm saying, before a thought. You know what I'm saying, because it's fire. You know what I'm saying, thought comes in with the breath or with the air to expand the fire. You know what I'm saying? That's what a thought is. It's something that's beginning and then it's traveling. It keeps traveling until like it comes into like a full cycle of something. And that's a sentence or a period. You know, you make sentences in your mind. Man, then they sentence people and then they bond them, but a bond just has to do with what they're doing to the soul, because the person is just the soul that's per son. It's the personal son, you know, so they're bonding the son, you know, literally, and getting its currency. And that's why the private prison industry is one of the top industries. You want to get some good trading going on, invest in those. And also, if we want to influence the laws and the corporations, we want to invest in their stocks in like large parties, like political action committees, you know what I'm saying, nonprofit organizations. And then when we want to make change, instead of rallying, we just pull our stocks out. You know what I'm saying? We want to fuck with your trust funds. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Alright, you want to kind of talk about it then, you know what I'm saying? Or like trying to figure out how to take it off. But if you take it off, then you have the potential of like destroying yourself, pulling your own rug. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to the point where we have a certain amount of reserves, and if we were to be taken out, then all of it would be just dished back out onto the people. You know what I'm saying? Trapping them in their own game. You know what I'm saying? Which is really our own game, because the only enemy is the inner me. So you're just going against yourself. You'll sound like, man, you're so clever because it's your polar side. You know what I'm saying? Your south, but we're going back into. Your left, we're going back into oneness, one side. Instead of being in both sides, Pisces, which is the fish, it was dual. Now we're going to Aquarius, which is washing out the waters, and it's going to be just water. You know what I'm saying? The fish going to be traveling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's like, we're getting to that point. That's what the age of Aquarius is symbolizing, the waters being cleansed. You know, water represents information. And it also holds in energy, you know, water. As you can see, I got water here, you know, it's being charged, you know, and we put the mason jar in front of the speakers to also be charged, you know, to actually hold in information from the high frequencies.
Yeah.
You know.
Also like in the office, but also in the sun and the
Yeah, so we put it in the sun.
Indoors, or we put it in the ground?
Yeah, we put it in the grass so that it can actually pull in the ions, you know what I'm saying, from the earth. And then a mason jar of water. Yeah, so it can charge, you know, so that it can earth charge, you know. And then mineral water, and then you can put a crystal or stone in there to magnify that light, the sunlight that's coming through there. You know what I'm saying? Or any stone that you want to take in, it could be a citrine, it could be amethyst, it could be clear quartz. You know what I'm saying? You know, especially when you put lime in it, you know, it allows for the chemicals to come together. You know, so then when you put it in the sun actually activates the H3O. It adds another another element of hydrogen. So now you have three. Yeah. So now that's the actual structure water that our bodies, you know, are in alignment with. You know, that goes back to, we have circles in our DNA. You know, we have circles that are our cells that make up our body. You know, we're points, you know, connected as one. You know, that's what a cell is. You know, a whole bunch of points. That's what a fractal is. You know, so this is why they're squaring the circle. You know, with all the boxes in the prison cell. If you get in jail, you know, then you got to go into a cell, and they take this battery and they put it in a small box, you know, an even smaller box, so that the energy doesn't travel or flow, and it only moves the way they want it to go.
Yeah, that's the water in our bodies, you know.
But like you said, you have to agree to it as far as going to jail, because the judge can't judge you, because they said that they all swear in the Bible and it says, "Judge not, don't judge your neighbor." So the judge can't judge you. He can only ask you if you want to agree to the sentence. You know, because you are the creator of your reality, and that's not just the same. That means, like, you know, you have to authorize everything. You know, that's why you came in and you were certified. You were a certified unit or a certificate unit. You know what I'm saying? A security. You know what I'm saying? A bond. That thing, it be going in, don't it? Yeah, the word is like, and that's because the first entities who were setting this up was Constantine. It goes back to all the way 325 AD, and even before that, like 85 BC. You know, when the Holy Wars started, it was like a period of like 500 to 700 years they were fighting for land in between like Africa and Asia, and that's what they call the Holy Land. You know what I'm saying? And then also South America, what was going on over there as well, different, portal lands, you know what I'm saying? So, and this is how, the church, which understood the energy and the frequencies of, what the earth is doing, the metaphysicians, but the church, that was created from actually Platotemy, and the Platonists, when the Greek actually wanted to go into Egypt and Platotemy wanted to be deified. But the Greek told them at the time that they didn't deify man, they didn't worship man, they only worship nature. So then, Ptolemy's went with Alexander the Great, and Alexander the Great had been taught by the mystery schools, in Egypt and in Kemet, so he knew about, how to be a great general and a great leader, so then that's how they went, and invaded, and they understood, the Kemites understood the law of exchange, so that if you put this out, it might take this many dimensions for it to come back, but you're going to receive that energy, universal law. So there was no point of like the complete fight, because after that point in time, then that's when nature came and destroyed things and sunk the island. They didn't necessarily get destroyed. They went into a different density, a different dimension. We can actually lift that dimension back up, raise the frequency, which is heaven, the higher states that those people were in. So with the Greek thing, then they created, Leos. Oh, Keith called me. I don't know if it was on purpose. My mentor.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He called you?
Yeah, my mentor in Atlanta, where I took my first DMT trip, on my birthday a few years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He did it for you on your birthday?
Yeah, he has the penthouse jungle. Is at the top of is in Atlanta, like in the middle of the city. You know what I'm saying? It's like plants and waterfalls everywhere.
Wow.
The sacred geometry is on point. Because it's like, again, the people who are at the top, they understand what I'm talking about. So this information just may not be common or like average information to the most common, but the people up at the top, they understand feng shui, minimalism and space and time, and that's why they're successful, because they were able to use space and time. You know what I'm saying? No matter what field they're in. So, but now we're just in that space and time where the information of like what's more natural is coming back out, because we can see and we can feel and we can hear, more of the destruction and decay that's actually happening now. Like, oh wait, like damn, people on this news channel, like they dying every day,
right.
Or damn, like man, like I can see how my cells actually look like, and they change, and also like water structure, water can change. We can see more, so we can feel more, So they can't stop that. So like I said, the ones at the top, they're going out and they're leaving this plane. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're not just looking at Mars because it's just empty. No, they have known and found and seen that there's ancient like civilizations that are actually on there. And that's why like the wealthiest people are going to Mars. You know what I'm saying? The most connected families are going to Mars, and not just regular average citizens. So we have to really keep respecting the media and the corporations, because they've been doing this for a long time. They're not just new to this. You know what I'm saying? They're actually true to this, but their time is up. Just imagine you playing a business for 10 years and you thinking about the end goal in mind. You would know like the exit plan. You know what I'm saying? So it's a corporation, so they know the exit plan. They're just going through their exit plan right now. 2020 was the activation, and if you go through geometry and numerology, and was it 2029 or 2027? That'd be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That'd be 11 year. So 2025 is the 7 year. So 11 will be like the gateway we'll go through. And 2029 that was 9, 10, 11. But 2028 as 10, 1 and 0. That'd be like a great like reset.
Oh, yeah.
The binary code.
Yeah.
2028, and then 2029 will be 100 years since the Great Depression that happened in 1929.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah 1929, the Great Depression. And we ain't been through a recession in over 13, 14 years. So we're actually on the brink of a Great Depression. That's what they're setting it up. And all that is a massive currency shift, because then that was 1929. In 1933, they removed the gold standard behind the dollar. You know what I'm saying? So now in 2029, we got digital currency coming into play. So now they're going to remove like the actual paper currency and put digital currency into play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are not going to be prepared for it.
No, of course. Right.
Yeah.
That's why, this Agenda 2030 and everything I was speaking about earlier with gematria, it's started by the ancient Jewish Kabbalists, and they actually 5,000 plus years into the new Shemitah cycle. So that's a whole 7-year cycle that has just been completed. And at the same exact time when that happened, we also saw XRP. It got a 50% jump in that same exact time frame when we entered the new Shemitah cycle.
So that's dope.
And, XRP is, you know, set to be the coin that's going to be overtaking all the currencies around the world.
Yeah, because that's the XRP. That's the government created token, you know.
Yes.
But that's just, every token is just its own sovereign entity, its own sovereign nation. You know, because it's accumulating, it's its own money. So you're not a nation, you know, unless you have your own money and it's something to protect that money. You know what I'm saying? So it's going back to that. But the technology though is going to really integrate into society, meaning, you know, that when they remove cash, they're going to start removing paper. So now information will literally have to go in. So it's like, instead of having like, you know, a debit card, you might have it like implanted in you. You know, like the iPhone will be in your eye. You know what I'm saying? Or in your eyes, like a contact or like a glasses that you can see. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they're going to create technological cities where you have to have like certain access. Like, you know how you have key cards to go to work in certain buildings?
Yeah.
You know, with the fucking rationals and the different things that's going to happen. You know, they're definitely going to be forcing people, like, you know how they force the vaccines. People to get, you know, microchips, you know, in order to get into certain buildings instead of using cards anymore, because now that's where your cash is and your identity, all these different things, literally your body. So unless you have one of these chips, you won't be able to literally function in this technological city. So you will have to literally go back to nature, you know, at that point in time, if you haven't already, you know, because, you know, they're pushing out, you know, the natural. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they're going to make it harder to barter here so you can naturally be pushed to places that are bartering.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, here. Yeah, that's the code.
China's like a testing ground for that.
Yeah, China's just a
China's
big
like
dragon. You know, you got America is a big eagle, which is another form of a dragon. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got China's a big dragon. And these are entities that, like, they basically don't need the opposite sex to, like, keep themselves alive. You know what I'm saying? They can regenerate themselves, you know. And then you have Russia, like the big bear. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's what's going on. Like, you have these big animals, you know, like the animalistic natures of these places on this plane, this earth, you know, like going at it against one another. And the reason why, you know, the world is, like, at bay, because, like, yeah, they all have access to technology that can, you know, reset, you know, like, not just their whole infrastructure, but they can interfere with others' infrastructures as well. So there's other forces that have to patrol that, or else, you know, it would be out of control. Because what's to say one man or one body or one group of people or one organization doesn't just take out a nation that's weaker than them? Like China, for example, why they don't just take out Tibet? Because Tibet is so small. You know what I'm saying? But Tibet is a very sacred land. That's where the crown chakra of the earth is at. So they don't just take out Tibet for that reason. You know what I'm saying? Because it's, like, protected on a very high frequency. But China's huge. You know what I'm saying? Tibet is like this very small island. You know, so it's like, it goes back to the energy, the frequency that it's on.
Yeah, that's actually where they had the Tibetan rainbow monks that were able to teach this method of activating the rainbow body, that they actually were able to live, you know, become immortal, essentially. And Tibet was one of, like, the biggest center places in the
High frequency Friday.
Oh yeah. Exactly. Yeah, this place in Tibet was probably the most high frequency place on earth, you know.
Yeah, the crown chakra. It's the top, it's the tip point.
Absolutely. That's why these people that lived there, the ancient Tibetan monks, were able to live, you know.
Yo, and they still live there.
Years, and
that's where the bridges this book right here.
Yeah, they do. I mean, there's even the books that have been written on that.
The bridges of Shambhala.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Or the fourth dimension. You know what I'm saying? Like,
let me take a look at that.
Yeah.
There's another one I have to show you called
What is it?
It's called The Key to Immortality, to Everlasting Life.
Ooh, that sounds dope. And there's another one called Masters of the Far East.
Masters of the Far East.
Yeah, it's about like 12 like ministers who go out to the east, you know, and start practicing and getting into the culture of the monks out there. And the monks literally doing things like walking on water, like carrying things. They're like, you know, appearing like splitting their bodies and appearing at two different places. You know what I'm saying? Once, you know, they're doing things like, you know, turning water into ice. You know what I'm saying? Like they're explaining it to them, and they're explaining it to them utilizing their work. You know, so it's called Masters of the Far East.
They do like levitation as well.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the same person that wrote
sound
the
levitation
Celestine
using
Prophecy.
sound.
Yeah, that's the same person who wrote the Celestine Prophecy, which has to do with, you know, like your reality is already being created, already like it's like the multiverse. It's already out there. You've already walked the path. It's just happening at different speeds.
Right.
You know, that's what deja vu is. It's you aligning with one of the multiple realities that you are in and have been in already before. You know, so when you can align with all your realities, that's like Avatar aligning with all of the other previous avatars. You know what I'm saying? You got to align with all of your ancestors' stars, because you are a star, so you got to connect all of your stars. You know what I'm saying? Which that would be like your astrological nature.
Sonic.
Yeah, that's like your astrological nature or your psychological mind. So you got to connect your mind, aka connect your brain. You know, going back to the hemisync. You know, which has to do with your kundalini. It has to rise, not sink. You know, when kundalini goes up, and that's when you get into the hemisync sphere. You know, but it's a constant understanding. It's a process because you are everything. You know, so you know you have neurons in your body that pick up cell stimuli, and then they actually form into that cell stimuli to connect to form that bond. So that's why neighbors in your environment, you know what I'm saying, you become a product of that. You know what I'm saying, because that's your power, that's your being. So you know, but that's why. Yeah. So when you're going into hemisync, you have to have that consciousness and that awareness. And constantly be understanding and comprehending that, you know, because it's like, you know, like that means constantly letting go and forgetting yourself and who you are, because you're constantly picking up all these other stimuli around you. You know, this is why when you go to the mountains in certain places in nature, that you can really, there's nothing that you have to constantly let go. You can really just really receive and take in.
Yeah.
That's that divine feminine. That's what you do. Divine feminine, receive and take in. You know, but that goes back to the 13, you know what I'm saying, that the heart chakra energy, you know what I'm saying, which is, you know, in between, you know, the higher realm and the lower realm, because you get too high, then you get disconnected from the land or the lower realm beneath. You get too low, you know what I'm saying, then, you know, you're not, you know, high enough, and then now you're drowning in the pressure, you know what I'm saying, you're hot, and then you're on heat, you know what I'm saying, you're on a hot seat, you know what I'm saying, so you got to stay in between, which will be, that's the heart chakra, that's the heart range, you know, which is why it's green.
Yeah, that's the part about the book here that I wanted to point out too, that it says you have to go through these specific inner changes before you enter Shambhala. That would say, you know, the ability that you have
above is hot and below is cool.
With prayer energy, which is essentially.
Facts. Then you say we got on top of the mountain, it was hot, the sun, because the sun was up there.
Yeah.
But essentially the climate was cold.
Yeah.
But it was like, I guess the later it got throughout the day, the hotter it got. Yeah. But yeah, please finish what you were saying.
Yeah, this book, you know, The Secret of Shambhala really reveals the secrets, you know, of living a life where you unlock the inner powers within yourself to get to even access what they say this Shambhala. It's like a, you know, frequency of a place that is able to, you know, get you not only aligned within your thoughts, but within every single fiber of your being that you can use to basically undergo massive transformation within society just by the vibration that you cultivate, that you emit. And that is so powerful because, you know, when you unlock these states of consciousness and you can have that level of an impact based on your vibration, and the power of that prayer energy that you can bring out into the world, you can
remember about the word prayer. We're going to say like summoning energy.
Yeah, summoning. Yeah. Exactly. Because the energy that you summon is, you know, what will be created in your reality. And like when you do, these deep meditations and practices, like what I do with my Twin Hearts meditations every day, you know, being able to program these energies out into the world, they, based on your vibration, the level of awareness that you've cultivated is directly correlated to the impact that what your prayers or what you invoke, what you channel into the ethers becomes reciprocated back into, you know, the world that you see outside of yourself.
That's a bar.
Yeah, it is, and that's how they've been able to use this, not only these ancient societies, but even today. You know, they're doing it behind the scenes. They're not really like reporting about it, but them being in these, you know, very secluded places, are able to actually have a much deeper impact on the world than much people realize. You know, and that's why they'll sometimes come down just to show you their abilities, not even from a place of like wanting to say that they're better than anybody, but if that anybody can truly do this, you know, when they have that level of commitment, you know, and dedication and consistency into it. And that's where I've been able to personally in my own life also be part of organizations that are doing this actively around the world, including the university I've been studying at, Maharishi International University, which they're basically, they have programs called TM City programs where you can go and be part of these teams that will go to different places in the world, and they will send out, you know, through their meditations, their what they want to project into an area that might be going through high rates of crime or a war, and they'll work with like the police and everybody to be able to even have measurable impacts on what they can do out in the world based on just grouping together, you know, and cultivating that level of awareness. So that's really the key that I wanted to share from this book, that I just felt, you know, so called to share, just the fact that you even, you know, brought it to my awareness.
Bridges to Shambhala.
Yeah.
And that was the Wi-Fi password too on Doctor Strange.
Really? Oh, this is a huge, you know, key. It was
Shambhala, and then it was like Shambhala.
Yeah.
And then they were like, yeah, the Wi-Fi password. We're not hooligans. We're not savages. Something like that. So yeah, the bridges to Shambhala, you know, that has to do with the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
You know, essentially, like when it comes to like World War II, you know, Adolf Hitler, you know, and the Germans, they were looking for the bridges to Shambhala because they heard that they were like, you know, monks in the mountains, you know, who were pulling things in to this reality, to this dimension from another realm, from another dimension. So they were looking for that. So, you know, even in the movie Wonder Woman, in the beginning, there's a German ship that crosses and it goes into a portal, you know, and then it's like they're training in this Wonder Woman, you know. So essentially, like, that's what happened. They're looking for that dimension, and they were willing to do whatever for it, you know. So British Shambhala has to do, but actually being able to go within and then taking your body, your being, from an atomic atom point of view, and then actually going to certain fields and actually being able to pull those things in. You know, like, you know, whether you do it if you're being, you know, your magi nation, and you put images in action, you know, or, you know, you are like able to, you know, it's like how we can do telekinesis with our mind, with our being, you know, through properly channeling chi or energy, you know, like, you know, you're able to actually do these things when you, particularly minding your frequency. So with the technological revolution that's happening, you know, it's a silent war, you know, which is why they went to a nano realm or a bio realm with the corona, you know what I'm saying, thing going on, you know, because it's like now, because we are getting stronger and brighter and information is coming in, they have to affect the genes. They have to affect the genes. So they come with the bio, you know what I'm saying, chemical, you know, warfare. So it's a silent war, you know, now that's going on too, with the war that's already going on. You know, with the noise they were making with the hip hop and the music. You know, they started gangster rap, you know what I'm saying, which was where they started killing and promoting killing back in the 90s and stuff, and then now we have mumble rap, which is still gangster rap. You know, so like yeah, they promoting that. You know, so we have to successfully and properly utilize the corporation for what it is. It's trust, so we have to get trust to actually operate with it, you know, or else we're going to be left without it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Trust is what you need to also develop within yourself, so because you can trust everything else that happens in life because it's you. And you can trust everything that also happened in your past, like that, boom. Trust everything that ever happened in your life, you know, because it was all you. You know, whether it was in that part, that body, or that thing, it was all you. You know, and then you gotta have your bond. You gotta bond with yourself so you can bond with others, so you can bond with the word. You know what I'm saying? So you can make bonds. You know what I'm saying? So bonds, you know, create more bonds. You know what I'm saying? That creates harmony. You know what I'm saying? When you have a bond, and you have like, you know, shares, you know, things that you share with that bond. You know what I'm saying? You're able to get more things that you didn't have before because now you're sharing. You know, and that provides security because, you know, you're feeling comfort. You're trusting that because you're building that trust. The trust is like the situation that's happening between you and that person that, you know, is also benefiting something else, which is what the shares is doing. Different things is benefiting other things. So that's a trust. You got security. You know what I'm saying? You're developing a friendship because they got one person that's willing to invest into that person, and then the other person willing to invest back into that person. Right. So now what you have is you have friendship. You know, so these are that's the dichotomy of words that we're living within. You know, we're getting in relationships, which are ships that are relating. You know, a ship like maritime law is traveling somewhere. So if you're on a ship, where are you going? So, you know, people are on these ships and, you know, and don't know where they're going, but don't know that these ships have been programmed with certain seas because it's a word that was created by a specific entity. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And so it's like, and even that word entity, all corporations, you know, everybody wasn't able to have entities, but, you know, prior to this time, you know, because entities were like, essentially, those were massive beings, you know, they were like massive beings, you know, bodies of moving things, you know, so everybody wasn't even able to have one, you know, so now everybody's involved with entities, you know what I'm saying, and not just business, you know what I'm saying, that's why it's called an entity search, you know what I'm saying, so like, yeah, the summoning is happening on many different planes. And because they know they're influencing you from the get-go, from a born, you know, from an unlively pointed state, you know, they know that, you know, you're going to be summoning things that's in their favor.
Right. Yeah. Dude, that's why I was even saying, like, just the fact that you shared this book with us, you know, this is already, like, you know, the transformation of knowledge and wisdom that can be imparted upon another being. I would love to even hand it back to you here, just so that, you know, when we are sharing this is pretty much the most valuable thing that you can give to another person, you know, really, like, because when you activate that level of that type of energy within yourself, and then you have, you know, a medium of which that you can share that with another person, whether it be from with a book or from like a trust or a relationship, or, you know, all those other concepts you were describing, they can be magnified and manifested in ways that are beyond your wildest imagination of what your mind can conceive. You know, the universe brings blessings into your life that, at least I know for myself, have been beyond like anything I would have ever expected.
Yeah, beyond that you can see.
Yes, and that's why this path of being able to share this type of knowledge and these messages is pretty much like what I've known for years is pretty much the only thing that I can see myself doing truly, you know, in the long term for a ultimate type of career and lifestyle, because, you know, I want to be